Okay, hello everyone. Those of you who may be tuning in, I haven't done many of these. I pride myself on being a queen of live podcasting. At this point, Cafecito Break is one of the OG podcasts out there, as 2012 is when we started our podcast, and so this is our 9th year. How's everybody doing? We have some Cafecito Break updates. Let me know if you can hear me. Blessings to everyone. My name is Rosangel Perez, la shamanessa, and I'm host of Cafecito Break, which is a audio and video podcast. You can find Cafecito Break on YouTube, and sometimes I post here on Instagram, but primarily I've been focusing on sharing my content in different places because of the nature of the content that I share. Hashtag free thinkers. Cafecito Break, although considered a small channel, still gets in trouble. We get in trouble with the YouTube algorithms. We get in trouble with the Facebook algorithms. I didn't even try Twitter. And I have to say, ever since I abandoned Twitter, I've been good. And I stopped using Cafecito Break Facebook really because they shadow banned me some time ago. I'm still using Cafecito Break YouTube because that's where people kind of still go, even though I encourage all of you who understand, especially in these days, the need to support local. And this is what I am here to be a squeaky wheel about, mi gente. The other day, a few days ago, I saw a report in which indicated that as of February 2021, New York City has closed or has seen more than 5,000 restaurants permanently close. This doesn't even start talking about the small businesses, the part-time businesses, the people who were just launching and starting their dreams, the students who are about to graduate and launch into their world of success. We have been halted by this pandemic, and because of the nature of the times that we are living in which everything is just so sensitive, one must just be more mindful. Anyway, so if you are interested in checking out the podcast, check it out on Apple Podcasts, for example. You could check it out by Spotify, and any podcast favorite choice, like iHeartMedia, for example. If you want to see the videos, go to Cafecito Break YouTube, and on there we have English and Spanish content. After all, Cafecito Break is a hybrid Spanish name, so I'm telling you right there what this is. Don't expect to get education on Spanish language. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm a Puerto Rican. I speak the way I speak from Brooklyn. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes I make mistakes, but I'm trying my best, and that's the most that we can do, is just try our best. And mi gente, we're living in those times where it's very difficult. It's so challenging to be in this human skin. And for somebody like me, somebody like our platform, Cafecito Break, we cover what I like to call those elephant in the room discussions. Well, places like Facebook and Instagram have not been very friendly to me. And so, at some point, one has to realize that you can't continue to be in places where, even if you're working, even if you're serving people in your own community, if all you are getting is the short end of the stick, at some point you have to look at the math and sort of see where you're not being fed. Where is it that you're just giving too much or offering too much? And sometimes we're just wired, we have great hearts as human beings, and we want to just give of ourselves and be in service. But part of giving of yourself and being in service is to be in service of yourself, to regard thy temple, thy holy temple that God, Source, Mama, Papa has given you and I. And so when we live in days when leadership and questionable science is encouraging the masses to wear this business, and all I have to do is try it on and understand that I can't breathe after that. I have trouble breathing. I feel like I'm having fainting spells. I start breaking out. I start having coughing fits. What else? Everybody's having different things. I almost had a panic attack wearing this stupid pamper on my face. And yet, there's no science that's really proving that this is actually helping. Of course, if you've tuned into the latest, because the news changes every day, and one day is this, and one day is that, and one day the CD says this, the CDC says that, and the CDC says this, and it changes this or that every day. And then I ask myself, because I'm a free thinker and in trouble for thinking, I ask myself, has that been the great play all along, to just mind F us? So here on Cafecito Break, we are a local community wellness platform. We care about community. We are here on the ground serving community. My sister and I serve via Botanical is one of the ways we serve, besides this audio medium platform in which we are both producers, including Ruthie Guten. And Cafecito Break, people know us in different ways. Some people know us as this local community podcast. You see us like in Moore Street Market, for example. I invite you to tune in on Thursday for an Facebook Live, but it's going to be in Spanish, and it's all to support the merchants in Brooklyn who work at the Moore Street Market, Lo Gustito de la Marqueta. And it's a collaboration with El Puente, and it's sponsored by the EDC, the Moore Street Market. But we can't do it by ourselves. It's so difficult when you're working with community dollars to do it by yourself. So we need community effort. And how can you support? You can support me, for example, by offering donations so that I can maybe bring in more people, so that we can bring more content to you. Right now, there's interest of people who would like to work with me, but these are days in which we need to walk with the highest of integrity and discernment, because the moment you say the wrong thing, you get deplatformed, you get shunned, or you scare people that I have known and have grown up to admire. I've also seen how the times have taken a toll on the heart of the activist. And it's just, we're just living in those times where one of the asks that are important to consider in these moments is to look for compassion. So much that we see encourages us to look outside of us, to point fingers at other people. When you are around people or you work, for example, in an environment where no one takes accountability or responsibility, where no one owns up to making a mistake, when you're in a relationship like that, or even if you happen to be that individual right now, this is not about judgment. It's about understanding where you are right now and who's around you. We all have our own path and our own journey, and we all have our moments where it's just things that we didn't know, and we made and we've made and we continue to make decisions from a very ignorant or naive place. We're just simply growing up and learning about the world. This is why, as Don Miguel Ruiz says, the most important thing is to try your best. And as one of my other favorite shaman like to say, be gentle. We are experiencing so much harshness in this world. There are people who never thought about fighting with anyone, and then all of a sudden last year, because they got inspired by whatever the media was covering, they started looking around, poking holes in friendships that were just okay. This life is hard. It's hard for everyone in different ways. It's difficult. It's difficult for people in different ways. I grew up in a neighborhood where there was prostitutes and gangbanging and even gunshots being heard in the middle of the day. But in my journeys, in my life through work, I've had opportunities to meet and be in mansions. I used to work for MTV Cribs, which, by the way, I heard is back, or it's coming back. And you know, through that, for example, I was able to be in, like I said, mansions and really wealthy homes of millionaires and even billionaires. And at first, you're a human being. You work through the levels of your own caca, as I did. Because when life invited me to have this opportunity where I was on the Cribs production team for MTV, I was also living in a studio apartment in Brooklyn. It just didn't make sense that here I was during the daytime, flying different parts of the country, staying at places like the Four Seasons, renting sometimes an upgrade that led me to drive a Jaguar, and showing up, having dinner in great places, and being invited to VIP parties, having direct access to artists and celebrities because you're working on that particular kind of show. You don't have access and no one gives you access like that. It's not just that you're good at your job, it's that you have to prove something that many people are forgetting in this day. It's one of the most important things, and it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with walking with integrity. Walking with integrity. I've been far removed from that industry 10 years now, and yet I still get phone calls of people who check in to see if I might be interested in working on a project with them, or would I babysit their show while they're away on maternity leave. And I have to say, well, I'm not at all connected with any of the nuances of the new technical, because I'm doing the audio podcast medium. I've left that world of professional television corporate industry. But that doesn't matter to the people who make these offers. Building relationships with integrity where people know that they can trust you, that they can rely upon you, that you will try your best. There are so many people who are having a tough time at work, for example, because there's a lot of concessions that are being demanded of us. It's really hard for the bosses who are trying to hire people. I hear them complain all the time. People are not showing up on time. They want to get paid, and they don't even do even 1% more of what is asked of them. There's so many things that are just not adding up about the way we're living in today's world. And it's one of the reasons why I haven't been too present on these kind of platforms. Who the heck wants to get berated by your own people? It's just, it's like one of those weird paradoxes of life. You grow up in a rough environment with people who love and encourage you, who want you to try your best and be your best, and then you come back with new information and you're just seen as the outsider, as the person who is just, as someone liked to put it, a white Nazi apologist and lover. Because God forbid you have a point of view that maybe doesn't fit the mainstream narrative, or maybe it doesn't fit the groupthink of the day. I live in New York City, so I'm surrounded by a certain kind of groupthink. I'm surrounded by a certain kind of political rhetoric. I'm surrounded by wokeism. And when someone knows, for example, that I host a show in which the tagline is the voice of the awakening women, awakening women is not the same as woke. It's not the same. I've always said, I said this a few years ago, is somewhere on one of my YouTube videos, woke is an inverted term. Woke is, you just feel into it. You just feel it. And so we are here in this time, in this beautiful, beautiful new time. Because guess what, mi gente? There are things that are really beautiful about the moment of now. The Schumann resonance being so high. People are just waking up in masses, questioning as much as they have been paying all the millions or who knows billions of dollars that they may have put into marketing this jab. So many less people than they anticipated are taking it. People know, but they're still pushing at us. They're still pushing testing, and they're still pushing mandates, and they're still pushing jabs. And most people just go along with it without questioning. But I can't be that person. I grew up with my dad, who just always said to me, no sea pendeja, que de la pendeja nunca nadie escrito nada. Which means don't be a sucker, because no one ever wrote a thing about someone who was a sucker. Excuse me, I hope that doesn't trigger anyone. This is just the way that I was raised. I was raised sometimes with what I like to call harsh wisdom. I just didn't know that it would be such a very, very helpful tool for the times that we are living in. Because circling back to a thought that I started a little while ago, employers are having a difficult time hiring people. Maybe their resume is stellar, maybe their resume or the college that they went to, for example, is an accredited university, but in terms of their life skill, in terms of their people skill, in terms of their critical thinking or thinking outside the box skill, some of it is not there. That muscle hasn't been cultivated. That's a quality that one of the most important things that I ever learned when I did my first internship, dating myself, it was for Geraldo Rivera. But that internship coordinator gave us the best advice ever, which I emulated. I followed this all through my career, and still to this day, is don't be a little wallflower. Don't be a little wallflower. At the same time, it's not cute to just be all of the time. It's just not cute. It's just too much. Like in every circle that I go to, any circle, name it, any theme, name it, when I'm in the earshot, or there are men, for example, that feel comfortable to speak, they will tell you, I just wish the ladies would just practice a little bit more of this. It's just non-stop. stop, because non-stop, and you know, medicina, because I'm non-stop too. So, you know, it's important to also practice what we call shut the F upness. And I'm not saying that in any derogatory term, but when you allow the silence, when you allow the silence, you can feel. When you're anxious, you're breathing too fast. That's your body telling you it's not getting enough breath. Take a deep breath in with me and feel your tummy. Relax your jaw. We hold so much tension here. It's when you are invited to sort of just go within. Meditation for everybody is different. But if you allow yourself, or you're able to sit with yourself for a little while, it's so helpful. It's so helpful because when you slow down the breathing, when you tune in more to the present moment, when you allow your body to continuously receive slow, deep breaths, you receive information that way. You receive the gift of God. And this whole thing about being masked up, this tunes in, and it just doesn't like any of it for so many reasons. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your presence here today. Please go to Cafecito Break on YouTube. We have interviews that we've just shared there, such as making contact, preparing for extraterrestrial existence with Alan Steinfeld. We also have Dr. Cynthia Barrett, the gut health guru, and you could check out that interview as well. And then we also have the collaboration that I was telling you about, and which I really hope the community supports in however way you can, with a like, a share, subscribe. If you know of the Moore Street Market and you want to, like, you know, share a story, let me know so I could like figure that out for an upcoming podcast on FB. And it's all about supporting local businesses. This in particular is focused at the Moore Street Market merchants. And so we need, it's not just, you know, the people who produce it. We need your help. We need your help. A lot of these celebrities are not our friends. A lot of these celebrities are just advocating things that are not helpful to us, or things that they don't understand, but they're getting asked or paid very good money to push certain propagandas. I'm a person that has my feet in different worlds, my ear to the ground. And I like to have those elephant in the room discussions with my community. So you're invited. You are invited. And stay tuned, because there'll be some private chats that you are also going to be invited for. But those are going to be private, because you say the wrong thing, canceled. So if you're listening and you want to be a part of these private video chats that my sister and I are going to start hosting, send me a note so that we can, and tell me your email address so that we can include you in our newsletter update when we decide to share this. Thank you, mi gente. Muchas bendiciones. Please stay safe. Please do not allow yourself to get bullied or manipulated by anyone, and stand your ground. Sometimes it may feel a little lonely to stand there, but you're not alone. Trust me, you're not by yourself. Bye now. Muchas bendiciones.